It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Okay. Next question's from Kyle and Emily. It's another house question. Curious to see what you say here. Saving to build a house. That's what they're doing. They say they're about 10 to 15 years away from that, though.
Okay,
so they're
wow.
just starting that journey. They want to use a brokerage account to save the money for the future home since it's so far away, saving about $10,000 a year.
Okay.
Any other considerations with going this route?
Okay, wow. So
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there. So a lot of times people say, hey, I'm saving some money for a wedding or a wedding ring or a vacation or whatever in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And the answer we always give is if you are saving for a future expense that is 3 to 5 years away, cash is king. Cash is your friend. You should not put anything into the investment markets, into the equity markets that you can't plan on walking away from for 5 years. That's kind of our tried and true rule of thumb. So most folks would just say, hey, build it up in cash. Well, this is Kyle and Emily.
Yeah, Kyle and Emily.
They said, hey, we're saving about $10,000 a year, but we've got a 10 to 15 year time horizon before we're going to do this. So the first thing I would say is awesome. We would quantify that as being long-term in nature. So I think a great thing you can do, rather than just parking that in a savings account where you're not going to earn a whole lot, because right now interest rates just are not that exciting, rather than parking in a savings account, I think you can open up an after-tax brokerage account where you're just putting that $10,000 in, building on a monthly basis. And you can buy perhaps like a target index retirement fund 15 years in the future. So it doesn't have to be pegged to your retirement date. It can be pegged to your date when you think you might need this. Or you could use just some low-cost indices to do that. And I love the idea of dollar cost averaging as you're moving towards that goal. Now, 2 things I would mention right here.
Caveat time.
Oh my gosh, caveats. 2 things I would mention. One is that you want to make sure you're following the financial order of operations.
Yeah.
Meaning, I wouldn't forego making sure that you have your deductibles covered. I would not forego making sure that you're doing your employer match, getting that free employer money. It's the best thing out there. Not making sure that you're not paying off high interest debt. So assuming you're doing these steps in the financial order of operations correctly, I think it's great to be building up that after-tax account. One of the things that I would be aware of as I'm building that, over a 10 to 15 year time horizon, odds are the market's going to do pretty good. Just historically, that's the way that it's been. Well, one of the things you want to be careful of is, let's say you just buy a low-cost S&P 500 index, which is great, and you just buy the 10,000 every year on a monthly basis, and you never look at it again. Well, 10 to 15 years from now, there's a chance there's going to be a lot of capital appreciation built up in there. So when it's time for you to go use that money, go capitalize on it, and you have to sell, there's a chance there could be a very big embedded gain in there. That's not a bad thing. Remember, gains aren't bad things. They're just things we need to be aware of. So I would encourage you, keep an eye on that account on a year-by-year basis. And when you have opportunities like the COVID downturn of 2020, like fourth quarter of 2018, do some loss harvesting. Do some things that you can use to offset that impending tax bill, because the better you manage it along the journey from a tax perspective, the easier it's going to be to access those dollars when you actually need them 10 to 15 years from now.
Yeah.
I think I love that they have such a long-term view. I think that's great, and best of luck to you guys building up that house fund.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Kyle and Emily.